Hey everyone, this is Mr. Diaz, Mr. D from the Art Track. In today's project, we will be looking at an artist known as Jean-Michel Basquiat. He is a Brooklyn-based artist, or was back in his day, and he has these awesome, very energetic, very line-heavy artwork. We're going to try and copy his style, or at least mimic it as best as we can. We will be needing paper, pencil, markers, crayons, colored pencils if you want to bring a third material into this, and a photograph of your choice, either of yourself, somebody you know, a pet maybe, or something off of Google. Alright, I'll be using this picture of myself. Now the first thing I want you to do is to find those big shapes. My face has this bean shape. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this bean shape nice and light on my paper. And I'm going to continue looking at the picture and looking for those big shapes. We're not really looking for accuracy, but pay attention to the placement. Pay attention to where the things go. You can exaggerate a little bit, make them bigger, make them smaller. You make them rounder or sharper, depending on your style. I just want you to look for the big shapes and get yourself a nice little sketch going, okay? Once you have a preliminary sketch, a quick little sketch, go ahead and bring out your materials. I'll be using crayons and markers. I'm going to be paying attention to the way Jean Basquiat handled his lines. In some places, they were really sharp and jaggedy. Okay, whenever he had a round curve of an object, he would just use jagged edges. This kind of adds a little bit of movement to the lines. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll be using this blue marker for the outline of my face. But then I'm going to go ahead and switch up the color when I do the hair. Now pay attention to how you draw the lines. The direction and the angles of the line will give you an added sense of movement. Now I'm about halfway outlining my artwork. I'm going to go ahead and start filling in some of the inside areas using crayons. You'll be able to switch back and forth between markers and crayons, and if you have color pencils, switch in between all three of them, depending on what you feel like using. Don't think you have to do all markers at the same time or all crayons at the same time. Mix and match, okay? Whatever color you're feeling, whatever material you're feeling at the time, just go with it. This is your portrait. This is your artwork, and have fun with it, okay? And don't worry too much about the details. And try and get the big shapes. Alright, sometimes having too many choices is a bad idea. I couldn't make up my mind of what colors to use because I had too many crayons. Here I'm adding a bright yellow for some of the lighter spots. Don't be afraid to color outside the lines. And again, going back and forth between crayons and markers. And if I use a color in one area, I want to try and see if I can use it in another area, whether it's foreground in the portrait or in the background. Now here, I'm using this marker to add lines for my beard and mustache. But then as I was doing the beard, I just felt like bringing those lines outside of my face. And don't be afraid to take those lines and extend those lines and spread them out everywhere. And when we zoom in into Basquiat's work, you'll see that he'll have a lot of words, a lot of notes. The words are usually things that mean something to him. So find a word that means something to you and write it. Write it forwards, write it backwards, mix up the letter, be creative with it. Here I use the word art, and then I change it up to rat, and then to tar, and I was just having fun with it. Adding a little bit of color to the background before I add the word dad on there. Not only am I a dad of 3 kiddos, and that's why there's 3 dots there, but I am also dad, as in my initials are spelled dad. So dad is a very special word to me, and I added that on there. Here's another little thing he likes to add. He likes to add the crown. Now, Basquiat's crown had 3 points on it. It was based on his lineage. It was a very important symbol to him, so he used it in a lot of his artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and put a crown on there, but I'm going to put 5 points on mine, 1 for each family member. You don't have to add a crown, but since we're doing a Basquiat Inspired Portrait, I decided to add one on here. And then to add images that are related to me, I decided to add the outline of a skull to my face and 3 little skulls around the background. Only because a lot of my personal artwork does have skulls, so I'll just add them here. Again, this portrait is about you or the person that you're drawing, so when you're adding these words and symbols to the background, make sure they mean something. Don't just put something for the sake of putting it there. Make sure they mean something, okay guys? And as always, don't ignore the background. If you're going to leave it blank, make sure it makes sense. If you're going to add color to the background, make sure it makes sense. If you are going to use black, just be careful on where you put it. If you add too much black, it could kill your colors. It can eat up all the color around it. Or if you put black in the right spot, it can enhance your colors. So be careful with the color black. It is the color killer. And just adding some last final details to the image. And one last word, because I kept getting asked why I was so mad in the picture, but I assure you I was happy. Alright, here it is. The final product. A Jean-Michel Basquiat inspired portrait of myself. Hope you guys try this out, have some fun, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.